So today we are jumping into the ideas from a book called Easier. And it does this through a really powerful story about a coach and his client exploring a totally radical shift in perspective. Okay, let's get right into this journey of a guy who goes from feeling completely stuck to finding a whole new way of moving through the world.
Right. So we meet our main character, and he's at rock bottom. He's totally burned out, beyond frustrated, and just feels like his career has slammed into a brick wall. You know that feeling, right? Grinding and grinding, putting in all the work and getting absolutely nowhere. He is just beaten down.
And this first meeting just perfectly sets the scene. The client shows up so wound up that he drives right past the place, hands gripping the steering wheel, already convinced this is a total waste of his time. And the coach? He's just chilling on a patio, totally relaxed, surrounded by nature. The contrast is just, wow, it couldn't be more obvious.
So you can imagine the client is all geared up for a strategy session, right? He wants a 5-point plan, a new set of goals, something to help him muscle his way to success. But the coach is about to say something that completely pulls the rug out from under everything we've ever been taught about ambition and hard work.
That's it. That is the first piece of advice. I need you to be lazy. And it is so jarring, so completely counterintuitive that the client literally gets up and walks out. I mean, it feels like a total insult. It goes against every single instinct that screams, you have to hustle, you have to grind to get anywhere in life. But here is the crucial distinction, and this is so important. The coach isn't promising some magic wand that makes every problem just vanish. It's not about making life easy. It's about finding a path of less resistance, a way to handle challenges that doesn't feel like a constant, brutal struggle, a path that is fundamentally easier. And the foundation for finding that easier path is this idea called the inside-out understanding. Basically, it's the realization that we never experience reality directly. Nope. Everything, and I mean everything, is filtered through our own personal thinking. So the situation itself isn't what's stressing you out, it's your thinking about the situation that's causing all the pain. And the same idea applies to how we see ourselves. So often we treat our identity like it's this solid, concrete thing we have to build and then protect. I'm a procrastinator, or I'm just not a numbers person. But the reality is, our identity is way more fluid than that. It's really just an ongoing creation of thought that can literally change from one moment to the next. And to get at this, the coach asks this incredibly powerful question that just cuts through all the noise. Before you start sticking on all the labels, your job title, your past mistakes, your personality type, who are you really? It's a way of pointing to that quiet, core self that exists underneath the nonstop chatter of who we think we are. And this all plugs into the way our minds are actually designed to work. We're naturally built for this kind of fluidity. Thoughts just come and go like clouds in the sky. And here's the secret. You don't have to grab onto every single one. Our brains are literally designed to rewire themselves. That's neuroplasticity. It means resilience isn't something you have to build from scratch. It's your factory default setting. Real, lasting change is always just one thought away. So our client starts to really let these ideas sink in. He's feeling a subtle shift. He even tries applying this new perspective to a super stressful project over the weekend and finds himself feeling more creative, more present. But of course, just as he's starting to get comfortable, his newfound calm is about to face the ultimate real-world stress test. He finishes his report, feeling genuinely good about his work for the first time in a long time. He walks into a meeting Monday morning, and there's a lawyer, an HR rep, and the CEO on a video screen. They deliver this cold, rehearsed line. His division has been sold. He's fired. Effective immediately. Just like that. Totally blindsided. Instantly, his mind starts playing what the book calls the internal horror movie. It's that rapid-fire downward spiral of every worst-case scenario you can imagine. His brain just jumps straight to financial ruin, his wife leaving him, total public humiliation. It's that feeling of complete and utter powerlessness that I think, a lot of us can probably relate to. So he drives home just dreading having to tell his wife, expecting her to panic or, feel sorry for him. But instead, she looks at him, and with tears of joy in her eyes, she says this. She doesn't see a disaster at all. She sees the freedom they'd always talked about, a chance for a real new beginning. Her reaction just completely flips the entire crisis on its head. And right there,
In that moment, seeing her reaction, it all clicks. The job is gone, but he isn't gone. He's still loved. He's still smart, still resourceful. He is fundamentally okay. His well-being was never actually tied to his job title. That was just a story he'd been telling himself. This quote from Arthur Ashe just perfectly captures that lightning bolt of a realization. Success isn't some destination in the future that he has to claw his way back to. It's a state of mind that's available right here, right now, just by using what he has, instead of being paralyzed by fear. Okay, so what's next? Well, his first instinct is to snap right back into the old way of doing things. He decides he wants to start a consulting business, and his mind immediately goes to tactics. LinkedIn funnels, million-dollar goals, high-pressure business plans, the whole high-stress shebang. But the coach gently pulls him back. Instead of focusing on getting clients, he tells him to just commit to service. First, recognize your own resourcefulness, then just look around for people you can genuinely help. The entire strategy boils down to just listening for an opportunity and asking that simple question, hey, do you want some help with that? And this service-first idea even changes the practical side of things, like how do prices work? The coach points out that charging by the hour is actually a pretty flawed model. I mean, think about it. It rewards you for being slow. A much better way is to price the outcome. Base your fee on the real value, the transformation you actually create for your client.
So the client starts putting all this into practice. He lands a great contract. He's starting to feel like he's back on his feet. He's so excited, he even sends the coach a positive update email. And then, almost immediately after he hits send, he gets another email. His biggest contract has just been canceled. A huge chunk of his income, gone.
And for a split second, that old horror movie starts to flicker on again. His heart starts pounding. That familiar fear floods his body. But this time is different. He's able to notice the panicked thinking without getting totally swept away by it. He can actually slow down, even while his mind is racing a million miles an hour. His wife asks him how he's doing, and his answer is just, it's incredible. Right in the middle of what should be a complete, full-blown crisis, he feels a sense of calm. He's actually accessed that state of ease that the coach talked about in their very first session. This is the proof. The change is real. His internal state is no longer being dictated by his external circumstances. So, what does this whole journey teach us? Well, for one, that true resilience isn't something you build with brute force. It's something you uncover that's already there. That your identity is way more flexible than you believe it is. And maybe most importantly, your state of mind completely changes what's possible in any given moment. Because that feeling of ease, it's always available, even in a crisis. And that leaves us with one last thing to chew on. What if all the struggle, the burnout, the feeling of being stuck on a dead-end street, what if it isn't caused by some flaw in you or your situation? What if it's all just rooted in a simple misunderstanding of how your own mind actually works? What easier path might open up for you then?